How's it going, everybody? It's Charlie, and welcome back to another video on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. Hope everyone's doing all right today. As always, it's time for Bitesize Leeds once again, people. Everybody knows how it goes by now. All the latest goings on in the wonderful world of Leeds United Football Club, transfer news, news about Leeds in general. It all goes down on Bitesize Leeds. So just before I get into it, smash that like button. Please subscribe. Share all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and let's get right into it. So then, guys, what have we got to discuss this morning? So then, very, very briefly, I know I discussed him yesterday, but Marc Roca looks almost certain now that he will join Leeds United. I know I mentioned that yesterday, but the reason why I'm talking about it today is due to the fact that in the last 24 hours, we've learned from Fabrizio Romano that Leeds are in advanced talks with the Bayern Munich midfielder and that the deal should be done by the end of this week. Fee is believed to be 15 million euros, which equates to, I'm not great at maths, probably about 12 or 13 million pounds, something like that. If I'm wrong, hit me up in the comment section with what that is. But the reason why I just wanted to touch about this briefly at the start is obviously Man City have now signed Erling Haaland. You're probably thinking, what does that have to do with Leeds United? Well, I think the next transfer that they're going to try and put through now is Calvin Phillips. As I do keep saying, I do think it will ultimately come down to Calvin and his decision. I don't think Leeds will want to let him go. But it's the Premier League champions, Champions League football, all that jazz. But on the flip side, it's a World Cup year. I mentioned this yesterday. I know I am repeating myself, people. But Marc Roca, more than likely now you would say is going to be a replacement for Calvin rather than actually joining him in the double pivot. Obviously, I will be gutted to see Calvin Phillips leave the club for everything he's done. Leeds lad, Leeds fan. But given his injury record, how certain are we that he's going to be able to play well in the Jesse Marsch system? And his age, 60 million, which is the fee that it's believed to be. Apparently, they've already made an opening bid. How true that is, I do not know. But 60 million quid, if that can be reinvested into another CDM to partner Marc Roca, who is good in the double pivot role and can play the Marsch system with him, we could probably get a player like I touched upon yesterday, like Mohamed Kamara from Salzburg. When I say I wouldn't mind it, obviously, like I said, I don't want Calvin to leave, but I think we have to start getting his head round to the fact that it's more likely than not now. I know I touched upon it in an upload a week or two ago where I discussed Rafinha and Calvin, and I said Calvin would stay. But obviously, things have changed since then. Stories have broke that make me believe that Calvin may leave. Until Romano tweets it, I'm not really going to believe a lot of the paper talk, if I'm honest. Once you hear it from him or Phil Hay, then you know it's probably happening. As soon as Phil Hay shared the tweet about Marc Roca, I knew Leeds were going to sign him. It was just one of them, in it with Phil Hay or Fabrizio. So yeah, hit me up in the comment section, guys. Is Phillips going a bad thing? I know that might sound like a silly question, but in the long run, is it a bad thing if we can get 60 million and reinvest? Or are you desperate for him to stay? Hit me up in the comments. So, moving on to two striker options that Leeds have been linked with. I've spoke about both of them on previous uploads. And that is Valentin Castellanos from New York City and Albert Elis from Bordeaux. Castellanos, I've heard that Leeds are in the front runners to get his signature. Apparently City were in for him, obviously, because they're in the New York family or something like that, the Etihad Airways family or whatever. But apparently they've turned him down and they've recommended him to Leeds, which I find rather odd. But yeah, there you go. And then there's Albert Elis, who also looks like a promising young talent as well from the French league. Now, what I want to know in the comment section, guys, if it was out of these two, I don't want to hear, oh, I'd rather have this guy, I'd rather have this guy. Out of these two, out of Castellanos and Elis, who would you rather see in a Leeds United shirt at the start of this season? Who would you rather play alongside Bamford, playing behind Bamford instead of Bamford? My opinion on it, based on what I've seen from both, there's pros and cons to both. Obviously, the pro of Castellanos, he looks like he's got good pace, really good finisher. But the caveat to that is that it's in the MLS, which, yeah, is getting a bit more competitive over recent years, but it is still the MLS. It's not a league where you can definitely say that it's going to work out if he comes over. Then you've got Albert Elis, who pro is, again, really good finishing, good physicality. Seems like he would fit the Jesse Marsch system. So it'd be an ideal striker for us. But the con is that, again, it's a better league than the MLS is the French league, but other than PSG and maybe Lille, like who is good in that league? So yeah, I understand where people are coming from when they're saying that they're both poor options. I can completely appreciate that. Apparently, Phil Hayes said that Leeds were linked with a Premier League striker. That doesn't seem like that's maybe something from Phil Hayes. That's not true because we've not heard anything since we beat Brentford to stay up. We've not heard anything about his Premier League striker. Apparently, it was Eddie Nketiah, but he now looks like he's signing a new deal at Arsenal. I personally would have said no to that anyway, if I'm honest. I understand it's a different system and a different manager, but if it didn't work the first time, it's probably not going to work the second time. So for me, out of the two, God. Just in terms of physicality, I'll probably go Albert Elis. I think Albert Elis would be the better shout. But if we end up signing Castellanos instead, I can completely understand that as well. Whoever we sign up front, I'll obviously support and get behind, and I will give them time. But if we get halfway through the season and they're not doing much, then we're just going to be back to square one with this striker situation, which is why I would rather get it right now. Surely they've got to be looking at other options other than these two. But if it did come down to those two, I would prefer Albert Elis. But to be honest, as long as we've got depth, does it matter or not? Hit me up in the comment section, guys. Who would you prefer out of those two? And if not those two, I know I said I didn't want to hear any other names, but why not? Who would you want to see as a realistic option as a number 9? I'm not talking, Mbappe and players like that. I want to see proper options that Leeds United could go for if we don't get either of these two. As I said, I did see a news story saying that we are the front runners to sign Castellanos from New York. But, like I said, hopefully we're having a look at other options. Is Marc Roca to replace Phillips or play alongside him? Hit me up with all your opinions on everything that I've just discussed in today's upload in the comment section down below. Smash that like button. Please subscribe if you're brand new as well. It really does help me out. And I'll see you in the next upload, people. Cheers.